to Getting Started with Your Brain Shift Home Neurofeedback Program at Leigh Brain Spine. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. I will, for all intents and purposes, be your neuro coach throughout this process. So as we spend some time together over video conference, I will dig in and give you some awesome coaching tips that can help you really move through this process and get the most out of it. But right here in these videos, I want to help you get started so that you can be successful right out of the gates, so that the process feels good to you and that we capitalize on neuroplasticity to keep moving you forward. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that I want you to remember, if we haven't spoken yet, is how feedback in the brain works. So this is a diagram that we use to explain it. And you can see over here on the left, it says sensors are placed on the scalp and ears to read brain waves. We use something called the MuseCom headband, which I will show you a few pictures of in just a second. But we also have an external sensor that we send with you so that if yours is an individualized sensor protocol, you can use the sensor. And for many people, the frontal lobe is what's involved in the brain pattern that is creating disturbances or struggles or challenges in their life. So many times we have a sensorless protocol that just uses the headband. So if that's you, you can just use the sensors in the headband. There's actually sensors across the front of the headband and 2 by the ears, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. But then your brain waves, which I always call them brain speeds, are translated into good and bad performance levels. I don't love to use the word bad, but they're optimal and less than optimal performance levels. And then what happens is when your brain is performing less than optimally, the feedback will be lower or dimmer in most cases. And when your brain is in the zone and it's doing what we want it to do, and it's making more of that calm, focused brain speed, then your screen's going to play brighter, your audio is going to play louder, your guy, your character in the games is going to do better. And I will share in the next video set that for some of the activities that we use, less feedback is more, but I'll get there when we get there. But so basically you're getting continuous visual and auditory feedback, which is rewarding your brain for performing better. And that is neuroplasticity. So we put the headband on, you download the app and you fire it up and you get into it. And when you're engaging with the activities, when you get the feedback that is desirable, it means your brain is in the zone, doing what we want it to do, that we've individually programmed it for you. When your feedback goes lower or you're not getting the desirable feedback, that means your brain has to work harder, and it will. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that is how feedback works. It's visual and auditory feedback to the brain. Now, what's happening at the brain's level? This is a cool diagram to show you. Here's a diagram with the headband. When your brain is in the zone, we're teaching it to make more of calm focus speed and less of the speeds out in the extremes for most people. Delta is extra slow brain speed. Theta is slow brain speed. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. For most people, we want this slowness to be trained down so that your brain can feel more alert and more focused and not overwhelmed and not burnt out. So at the beginning of a session or at the beginning of a program, this brain is making lots of delta across the board. That's indicated by red and yellow and light green. It's making theta, especially here in the frontal lobe. It's making too much theta over here by the right ear. After training, there's a reduction in delta. We've trained it down. So you can see there's still areas we'll be working on, but for this area up here in the frontal lobe, there's lots of delta here and less delta being produced there. That is the outcome for training for this particular individual. It's to train down delta. And that is what happens after you've had sessions where you're getting that auditory and visual feedback. Okay, so let me remind you what the brain speeds are. So there's 5 main brain speeds. And here we don't have delta on this graph, but I've just showed you that delta is extra slow brain speed. It's for sleep. What we see here is that theta is slow brain speed, and it's loose and it is a wandering mind. So we have extra slow, and then slow is theta. Theta is the brain speed that kicks in when your brain is falling asleep. Then we have alpha, and you can see that it's a little bit faster. It's very relaxed. I call it couch mode. This is medium speed. So we have delta extra slow speed. Then we have theta slow speed. Then we have alpha medium speed or couch mode. That's relaxed. Then getting a little bit faster, we have low beta, which is also called SMR or sensory motor rhythm. It's a little bit faster and it's calm focus. When you have a calm focused brain, your brain is making low beta or SMR. So for most people we work with, most people in the world actually, increasing SMR and decreasing the slowness is a major goal, along with decreasing high beta, which is that very fast, tight speed, which creates anxiety, gives you feelings of anxiousness, and is proven by science to be comorbid or coexisting with too much theta, which creates ADHD. Okay, so hopefully getting a sense of what the brain speeds are, how the auditory and visual feedback works, and then how it creates changes in your brain performance pattern will motivate you to get started in your brain shift sessions, because that's exactly what we're going to do. And so remember, the zone of calm focused brain speed is what we're going for. And I'm going to teach you how you know you're doing it in the next video. So the zone can be either more or less of the feedback. It can be auditory and or visual. It can be both or one or the other. And the science shows that it's only a tiny bit, not even significantly more powerful if you're using both auditory and visual feedback. So I like to use just the auditory feedback and I close my eyes, and I'll share that with you in just a minute. This is the MuseCalm headband. If you've ever seen any of my videos or if you've heard me talk, and especially if you know me personally, you know that I love the MuseCalm headband. So when you get done with your home neurofeedback program with us at Leigh Brain Spine, your brain shift program, in the end, you can use your MuseCalm headband all by yourself with no cost, but we will have built in the habit for you through our home neurofeedback program. That's why I love it, because not only is it awesome that we can use our brain shift program with it, that it's programmable for our particular program, in the end, you keep it and you use it yourself and you have the habit instilled. And we all know that instilling the habit can be the hardest part of a new beneficial habit for you. Okay, so this isn't the best picture of me, but I wanted to show you where the headband should be placed across your forehead. You can see how it's a little snug on my forehead. I like to make sure it's nice and snug. It doesn't hurt. It's not painful. The temporal lobe sensors are here. I'm wearing my AirPods so I can get nice feedback directly into my ears when I'm engaging with our brain shift program. So this is a good position for your headband when you're trying to figure out where it goes. Okay, for your first session, we're going to assist you in setting up your equipment. We want to make sure that you know what you're doing and how to use it. And we have an onboarding process that we help you do that. We're going to answer any of your questions in that onboarding session. And I will tell you, a few weeks later, you and I are going to have our first neuro coaching progress report check-in, and I'm going to answer any more questions that you might have gotten from doing your first handful of sessions. I'm going to assist you in completing that first session. Usually it's one of my team members who helps you get on, do a quick little session so you know what the whole thing is like. But again, I'm going to give you tips in the next video. And then we're going to briefly analyze how you can look at your scores and be able to have feedback on what your individual scores mean. I'm going to show you that in the next video. So this is your start screen. And when you download your app, and you will have a cheat sheet from us at Leigh Brain Spine that shows you how to download your app if you're not familiar with that process, get it all hooked up on your phone. This will be the first screen that you see. First, it will say, "Welcome, Trish," and then it'll go to this screen. You press start, and it shows you where the headband should be, and it will show you that it's an eyes open training. We program everyone's for eyes open, but if you'd like to do it with your eyes closed, you can. This is mine. It's set to 2 rounds of 10 minutes each. That's very long. We have everybody set to 3 rounds of 4 minutes. And that is based on neuroplasticity and can really help you be successful with each round within a session. But since I've done 1 million sessions, I like to do at least 10 minutes. And someday, if you want to get to that, we can cross that bridge, but not out of the gates. Okay, so this is what the screen will look like when it is locating your headband. And it will turn green once it's located your headband. If this is just spinning and spinning and spinning and it's not able to find your headband, then on the right-hand side of the headband is the on-off button. It lights up on this right ear to show you that the headband is on. And I've done it so many times, I don't even want to admit to you, but many times I turn it on and I think I've turned it on, but I haven't checked the light to make sure it stays on. And I put it on and it can't find my headset. And it's just because usually I've turned it on and I've accidentally held it too long and I've turned it off again. So then now I know I don't even have to take my headband off. I just push the button on, and if it connects, it's because my headband is off. And if that doesn't work, then you could tighten your headband. But most times it's because I haven't turned the headband on or I've turned it on and then off. So once it locates your headset, then it's going to do a signal quality check. If it is red, you typically need to get your hair out of the way, but especially if it's red and then it goes green and it's starting to connect, but it goes red again, then you need to sit more still. If you're moving around during this signal quality check, it can definitely impact the ability of the headband to stay connected and check the signal. Most times it's just movement, so sit as still as you can, but sometimes my hair is still in the way. And once you do a few sessions, you'll totally have the hang of this and you'll know what you need to do with your hair. But the first session or two, don't get frustrated. If you have any difficulties, call us or email us at tlc@leighbrainandspine.com, and one of our team members will help you because it's very easy process and we never have any connection problems. So if you're having difficulty, it's probably just you need to get the hang of getting your hair out of the way. It will turn green, and when you pass the signal quality check, you will see how the headband has lit up green and the sensor, which is a ground sensor, has lit up green also. So it will show you that you've lit them all up green, and that this bar has to go all the way across to the right for the signal quality check to have lasted as long as it needs to make sure that it's connected well. So you need to make sure that the headband sensor is connected, the side sensors are connected, and if you're using a sensor that's plugged into the port that is up on the top of your head, that sensor has passed the check too. If you still can't pass this signal quality check, then you can press this button that says, I still can't pass, and it will give you some more advice. But again, if this is something that you really just can't pass the first time or two, call us. We will help you, because generally you need to sit more still again. That is the typical thing that makes it so that I am not getting a good signal quality check. Or again, it could be the hair, but usually it's just because I'm moving too much. So if all else fails, just try to sit as still as possible so that you can pass this check. Then it will calibrate. So it will assess your baseline brain performance. And so this tech is totally awesome in that when you hit this button and it says, let's go, it's going to take basically like a mini map of the sensors that we're using at the moment that you are engaged at the beginning of your session. So we all know that we might have better and worse brain days because we have better and worse body and mind days, right? So on a better day, your baseline is going to be a little bit higher, but it's going to account for that because it's calibrating. If you're super cranky and you're really busy and you can feel that your brain is messy, as I say it, it's going to take that baseline lower. And your baseline is being calibrated every single time you get on. This is awesome tech. So then when you press let's go, this will start moving around the circle. You will not hear a voice until you're halfway through, and it will tell you that you're almost there. And then when this gets all the way around the circle and it's completed at 100%, you'll be ready to roll for your session. Okay, down here, it's talking about high beta, SMR, and theta. Most people's protocols have high beta set to inhibit at different levels. It's all individualized. SMR is set to be increased, calm focus, and theta is set to decrease. So if yours is a little bit different, it's usually 3 brain speeds we're training, the 2 extremes down and something in the middle up, which it's usually high beta SMR and theta to some extent. So you'll see that, and you'll see them moving here at the bottom during your calibration. If you can't complete it, it says, looks like it's not sitting tightly behind your ears. Again, it's usually movement. So sit more still. And if you still can't get it to, then you can adjust your headband. But I find not monkeying with the headband during this and just trying to sit as still as possible is the key to success. And if you need to then adjust the headband after you've sat still for a little while, then you can. But just sit still. It usually fixes itself. Okay, join me in the next video for training tips when you're in your session to get the most out of each individual session. I'll see you in the next video.